Hello and welcome to the Back Nine Report, where every week Fred Altvater and I check in on the world of golf to bring you the latest news, insights, analysis, interviews, recaps, previews. Hey, we cover anything and everything golf. In other words, if it happened in golf, we're going to be talking about it. We have it for you. Fred, hi, how are you?
Hey, Carlos, we're back at it again this week. Had a full weekend of events. Pretty much all the tours were in action. But you know what we got coming up this week, Carlos, is the Walker Cup. It's the biggest men's amateur event. Only comes around every couple of years. We're going to talk about it tonight.
Yes, we're going to be talking about the Walker Cup. And it's funny. It's like the amateur equivalent, right, to the Ryder Cup because it's the U.S. against GB&I, Great Britain and Ireland. But it's a biennial amateur competition, team competition. So there's you start to see the similarities between the U.S. and amateur players from Great Britain and Ireland. The match is played over 2 days, just 2 days, not four like the Ryder Cup, but it has 18 single matches and 8 foursomes that play alternate shots. Now, this year's Walker Cup match will take place May 8th and the 9th at the the revered Seminole Golf Club. Oh my God. And you can testify about that in Juno Beach, Florida. This dates back to the first match in 1922, so it has some tenure, right? It was held at the National Golf Links America in Southampton, New York. The Americans hold a commanding 37-9-1 advantage. But you know what? Don't count on that too much because they're just 9-7 against GB&I over the last 16 competitions dating back to 1989. The U.S. seems poised to keep a stronghold on the Walker Cup when the 48th playing of the event gets on the way on Saturday. And they're laden with talent and experience. The captain, Nathaniel Crosby, comes back with three tested veterans, Stuart Hagestad, Cole Hammer, and John Pack, who accounted for six of the USA's 15.5 points just 2 years ago at the Royal Liverpool Golf Club, which marked the team's first victory on foreign soil since 2007. That was at Royal County Down. So, Fred, saying that, I mean, 9-7, we were able to break that 8-7 last time and take a lead. Then now 9-7 in the last 16s. It seems to me, and when you talk about the players that are going to be playing here, it seems to be that somehow Great Britain and Ireland are taking like on the Ryder Cup, they're picking up. The competition is starting to get even better even on the amateur levels. But what do we have on the teams this weekend?
Yeah, you're exactly right, Carlos. Great Britain and Ireland. Now, we're not like talking like Europe, like the Ryder Cup, right? Spain and Germany and France, they're not involved in this thing. It's just Great Britain and Ireland. Scotland, of course, has players, but none of the continental Europe is involved here. So that's a little bit of a disadvantage for that team. But over the last 15 or 20 years, more and more collegiate coaches here in the United States, under the pressure to win, have been bringing top talent from Great Britain and Ireland and Europe to the United States to play on their college golf teams. And so these kids now are traveling to the United States. They're playing over here. They're acclimated. They're playing against the best talent. They're not afraid of them. They've seen them. They've beat them. Hey, that's the whole thing, Carlos. That's why this thing has gotten a lot closer. So you talk about the record over the 48 years. The U.S. is way ahead. Well, that really doesn't matter anymore because times have changed, and these kids from Great Britain and Ireland are getting a lot better because they get the great coaching early, and they come to the United States and go to college. So it makes a real difference. The Walker Cup was first held in 1922, as you said, and some of the guys in that first Walker Cup was Chick Evans. We know who he is, right? Francis Ouimet, we know who he is, right? And also a guy by the name of Bobby Jones was in that first Walker Cup. So, we've had some pretty good amateurs over the years. And let me just give you a few names that have played in the Walker Cup over the years. There was a guy from Columbus, Jack Nicklaus was in the Walker Cup. Lanny Watkins, Tom Kite, Curtis Strange, Jay Siegel, Hal Sutton, Corey Pavin, Davis Love, Phil Mickelson, David Duvall, Tiger Woods, Ryan Moore, Billy Haas, Ricky Fowler, DJ, Webb Simpson, Jordan Spieth, Justin Thomas, DeChambeau, and Colin Morikawa. So the names that we're going to see playing in the Walker Cup this weekend, they're not household names yet. They're college kids, right? But these are the guys that are going to be on the PGA Tour very soon. Probably right after the Walker Cup is over on Sunday. They will, on Monday, they'll announce they've got their sponsors lined up. They'll be signing the contracts, and they'll have millions of dollars in their bank account next week. And they'll be ready to hit the pro circuit to try and earn cards on the PGA Tour, playing on the Korn Ferry Tour, playing in Europe, playing all over the world. So these are the kids we're going to be seeing over the next few years. Let's talk a little bit about the European team, or I'm sorry, European, I should say Great Britain and Ireland. Some of the guys that we've seen come out of Great Britain and Ireland over the years: Peter Oosterhuis, right? Mark James, Peter McAvoy, Colin Montgomery, Padraig Harrington, Justin Rose, Paul Casey, Luke Donald, G-Mac, Tommy Fleetwood, Rory, Danny Willett, Matthew Fitzpatrick, and Paul Dunn. So there's great talent that's come out of the Great Britain and Ireland team too. So whether you're an amateur golf fan or not, if you're a golf fan, this is a big deal this weekend, Carlos. You should be watching it on TV this weekend. I'm going to stop right there and let you talk for a minute. I need to get a drink of water, but that kind of lays the background a little bit. If you've got it, why don't you talk a little bit about the format, what we can expect to see, and where we're going to see it this weekend.
Yeah, I want to add a little bit about the players, because you mentioned a lot of big names there. All right, so we, like you mentioned, these are not necessarily all of them are going to be the household names that we're gonna see in the future, but we definitely are going to see most of them turn pro. Like you were mentioning that somebody will be turning pro. Hey, Tyler Stoffasci, right now the reigning U.S. amateur champ, is going to turn pro right after, and he's going to be playing at the AT&T Byron Scott next weekend. So that's part of what happens every week. I mean, every year that this is played. In the one of the important things, like I mentioned, they're going to be playing 18 single matches and 8 foursomes, alternate shot matches. So a lot of the individual, because you have so many, 18 out of the 26 matches are going to be playing singles matches. You have to make sure that the individual talent comes through here. That's one of the things that is very important. But at the same time, you have to think, hey, we have 8 foursome matches that a lot of the times decide this competition, and you have to make sure that that team is also made sure that, since it's alternate shot, they can complement each other. And the Seminole Golf Club is a perfect golf club for this type of team competition. And among the players that we're going to see there, you talked about Tyler Strafashi, 22 years old, 21-year-old Davis Thompson, Ricky Castillo, Young Pack. Hey, there's a player from Plano, Texas. I've been talking about Will Salvatore, right? Yeah, I live in Plano, Texas. I'm informed, and we are starting to see more players. And Pearson Cootie is there. Cole Hammer, Stuart Hagestad is like the old guy there. He's 29. And Quade Cummings, Austin Eckroyd, William Mode. But from the European, we got to see a player named Alex Fitzpatrick. He's a junior at Wake Forest, but you know who he is? He's the younger brother of Matthew Fitzpatrick. He's the only player in the GB&I team who competed in Liverpool 2 years ago. So now that roster took a hit when Sandy Scott, who's a senior at Texas Tech, was ranked 8th in the World Amateur Golf Rankings, was forced to withdraw with a wrist injury. He's replaced with Jack Dyer. But what of these players do you see? Who are notables? What are things that we are to expect? Which names really catch your attention from what you've seen, Fred?
Yeah, on the American team, there's a couple names. Cole Hammer, we've been talking about him for a few years as a top amateur. He just finished his junior season at the University of Texas. He was the 2021 Big 12 Conference individual champion just a week ago. Played a key role in the Longhorns run to the championship match in 2019. So he is an experienced amateur. This is his second Walker Cup, so he knows what's going on. John Pack was also a member of the 2019 team. He earned low amateur honors at the 2020 U.S. Open. So, he can play. He can play in big events. He's in his senior season at Florida State. You mentioned Tyler Stefaci, who is the U.S. amateur champ. He's been playing really well, qualified for the 2018 U.S. Open, and has competed in 7 USGA championships, including 4 U.S. amateurs. So these guys are experienced. And then, you got the old hand, right? Stuart Hagestad. He's been in, I don't know how many of these things. He's been playing in them forever. Seems like he was 2016 U.S. mid-amateur champ. He got beat in the U.S. amateur last year by Tyler Stefaci in the quarters. And Tyler went on to win. So the guy plays at a high level, even though he's 29 years old and still an amateur. So those names kind of jump out at me. You got a couple guys from Pepperdine, Ricky Castillo, William Moo, Pearson Cody from Texas, another guy from Texas down there. He's the grandson of Charles Cootie, who was a former Masters champ. Also Quade Cummins, who's a fifth-year senior at Oklahoma. He was runner-up to Cole Hammer in the Big 12 this year. So these guys are all just fantastic players. And I don't know, maybe not as heralded as maybe some of the teams we've had in the past. I think back like when Ricky Fowler was on the team and some of the other, Billy Horschel. I mean, these guys were all well known as amateurs. They were the dream team, and they ended up getting beat because Great Britain and Ireland just played fantastic over in the Scotland that year. On the Great Britain and Ireland side, you mentioned Alex Fitzpatrick, who is the brother of Matt. There's a couple other kids. The kid that won the British amateur is on the team. You've got 3 or 4 kids that have come over here and played in U.S. colleges. So you've got really, really strong teams on both sides, and it'll be fun to watch especially the Great Britain and Ireland kids, to see who steps up to the plate and can take on these big names from America. But Carlos, I also want to mention just real briefly the coaches of the 2 teams. You've got, for the United States side, you've got Nathaniel Crosby. Well, everybody knows that name, right? Son of Bing Crosby, played golf at the University of Miami, won the 1981 U.S. Amateur at Olympic Club, not too far from where he grew up, out there in San Francisco. When he was 19 years old, he won the U.S. Amateur. Played in 3 Masters, missed all 3 cuts, but that doesn't matter. Made the cut in the 1982 U.S. Open and missed the cut in 2 Open championships he got to play in. Oh, by the way, he is a member at Seminole. So, now the other captain, Stuart Wilson, I mean, he cannot boast of a celebrity lifestyle like his American counterpart, but he has had a solid amateur career. He won the 2004 Amateur Championship at St. Andrews, which earned him a shot in the 2004 Open Championship, and he was the only amateur to make a cut, so he won the silver medal as the leading amateur. He also was the European Junior Ryder Cup captain in 2012 and 2014, so he's had a little bit of experience at doing this, albeit this a little bit bigger stage maybe than what he's used to, but he's bringing a nice team, all great kids, really good players, so it should be fun to watch. But Carlos, also this week, something came up a little bit. There's a little bit of controversy stirred up a little bit. Can you imagine the USGA and the RNA approving a professional as a future captain for the Walker Cup team?
I don't, and that was a question I had for you, because I wanted to see, Nathaniel Crosby, you mentioned, he led the U.S. team to a victory 2 years ago.
Nathaniel was a pro for 10 years.
So there you have it. You see, and when you see Stuart Wilson, the captain on the other side, he's one of Scotland's most renewed amateur players. I mean, we should have Kieran Clark talking about him here, but we don't have enough time to talk about it. So that's why we cannot let him talk about him. But anyway, I mean, his competitive resume includes a victory at the amateur at St. Andrews, and he defeated the 2018 champion golfer of the year, Francesco Molinari, in the quarterfinals. So I cannot, and I understand, but on the on the Global Golf Post, the friend of the show, Ron Green Jr., was talking about this, and I cannot. Again, I know that there's a sign of the times on trying to the USGA and the RNA doing this exercise that they've been doing for the past few years about revamping the rules of golf and maybe this bifurcation that's going to be coming. But I don't see why or the need to have actually a professional take place in here in this type of competition. Really, none of them know. If it's nothing, the only way that I can see this is because they want to do any marketing strategy or trying to bring more names to that, trying to more recognition to it. But it's the only thing. Why, if you want to do that, then do what the Ryder Cup does: bring a guest captain or honorary captain to be here. But you have to let really the amateur captains are really the ones that know these players. The pros, yeah, that's what these guys want to be like, but it's just not going to make any difference for them. They don't know them. They don't spend time with them. They're not at the same kind of competitions. So I don't see why they should do that. If you want to do it just for a name and try to bring some recognition to it, mention honorary captains, but there's no way this should be pro captains here.
I really find it hard to believe that the USGA and the RNA would want professionals as captains of the Walker Cup team. They are so ingrained in the amateur game and like keeping it pure and, all that kind of thing. So I find it hard to believe. However, I am intrigued a little bit by the fact of maybe you could have Justin Leonard versus a Luke Donald scenario. Luke Donald could be the captain for GB&I. There's some other great names along the way. Maybe down the road sometime you could have Rory McIlroy in there as a captain versus, maybe a Tiger Woods or something. I don't know that that'll happen, but I mean, it's, these kind of things are what are fun to talk about. So yeah, the captaincy of the Walker Cup, kind of like the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup, it's somewhat of a figurehead position. There are some decisions that have to be made and all those kind of things. But, these bigger names, I think you hit on it. The bigger names would give a marketing standpoint to this thing and maybe bring a few more eyeballs to the event. As it is, Carlos, you don't see many people talking about the Walker Cup right now. Yeah, it's on the Golf Channel a little bit, but it's not, it's not all across sports media like like a major would be, or the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup. I think it should be. I mean, these young men are the best in the world. I mean, they are really good players, and this is a big event, and it's all about sportsmanship. It's not about the money. It's about playing golf at the level that most people play, just to have a good time and play against the best competition that you can find. So I really am excited about this for a couple reasons. One, it's the Walker Cup. Two, it's at Seminole, which is, it's pretty close to heaven as you're going to get on earth there. So I'm pretty excited to watch this weekend. I'm fired up, and so can't wait to let's tee it up. Let's go.
Yeah, if Ben Hogan frequently visited the club to prepare for the Masters, and he said it was the only course he could be perfectly playing every single day. If you can play well at Seminole, you can play well anywhere. So that's what awaits these amateurs. And if you want to watch it on TV on Saturday on Peacock, 10 to 11 a.m. and 4:30 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time, Golf Channel will have it on 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and 5:30 to 7:30 p.m. And on Sunday, it'll be Peacock, 10 to 11 a.m. and 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. And again, the same thing for Golf Channel, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So I just going to mention before I close it, two names that you have to watch. I think from the GB&I, I want to have this name. And you know that I'm always watching those youngsters that are coming up. And there's a guy by the name of Ben Schmidt. He's the youngest player of both sides. He doesn't have much history, but you will see he's been playing really, really well. I mean, he was second in the Tillman Trophy, second on the Avondale Amateur Medal, third on the North of England Open Amateur. He's just getting started. Okay. He was T11 on the Jones Cup. So hey, I see a lot of potential in him. That's the one I'm going to be seeing there, and also Mark Power. And you mentioned Joe Long there, the British amateur champion. But anyway, it's an amazing competition. These names, start writing them down because in the near future you're going to start seeing them starting in the Corn Ferry Tour or in the Challenge Tour in the in the European tours, and you will see a lot of them coming up. Any final words before we close, Fred?
I think that's it. Just I'm ready to watch it. I'm excited.
Let's do it. Thank you for joining us. For more of golf information and news from us, subscribe to our channel. That way you'll be up to date immediately that our videos come up. And also follow us on Twitter. Our ID is @Back9Report with the number 9 in the middle. So thank you for joining us.